Hey everybody, Samuel Singer here, the founder and executive director of Wyoming Stargazing. Thanks for joining me and welcome to Mind Bending Astronomy. In every episode, we'll share with you, a mind-bending fact about astronomy. Yesterday, we learned how the solution to the EPR paradox reveals something truly strange about the universe. Namely, that the universe might not actually exist apart from our observations of it. But shouldn't there be some observations that anyone can make from anywhere in the universe that everybody would agree upon? Yes, and it all has to do with the speed of causality. The speed of causality is the maximum speed that any two objects in the universe can move or exchange information with each other. It's just another way of saying that there is a maximum speed at which one event can influence another event. Okay, simple enough. So what? Well, in the 1860s, James Clerk Maxwell was figuring out how electricity and magnetism work together mathematically. He already knew that moving electric fields created magnetic fields, and that moving magnetic fields created electric fields. He realized that interacting electric and magnetic fields created a form of radiation that propagated through space as waves. He called it electromagnetic radiation, light. Although his equations work perfectly to predict the strength of a magnetic or electric field from one stationary position, if the observer was moving, the equations had a problem. You see, Maxwell's equations showed that the strength or force of the created magnetic or electric field was dependent on the velocity of the other field creating it. The problem was that a stationary and moving observer were measuring the same field strength, even though the velocities of the moving field they measured relative to themselves were different. Everyone agreed that the field strengths were correct. They could be measured independently of the velocities. And Maxwell's equations appeared to be right as well. It seemed that something was wrong in the way that the velocities of the fields and the moving observers were being added together. Could it be that Galileo's and Newton's laws were being violated? Yes, they were. Hidden inside Galileo's and Newton's laws of motion was the assumption that the speed of causality was infinite. Maxwell's equations suggested that assumption was false, and independent measurements of the strengths of moving fields proved his equations were correct. In the 1890s, a Dutch physicist by the name of Hendrik Lorentz figured out a new way to add velocities together that worked with Maxwell's equations. Lorentz's equations became known as the Lorentz transformations because they allowed an observer to transform their measurements of any phenomena into any frame of reference independent of their own velocity. Out of those transformations and Maxwell's equations came a finite speed of causality. That speed is the maximum speed that any massless particles can move, also known as the speed of light. To hear more about this and to get a bit baffled, check out the video that I have at the bottom of the transcript of this talk. Tomorrow, we're going to take a deeper look at how these equations and Einstein's insights forever changed the way we understand reality. Until then, be well, and don't forget to look up.